This is the brand new Boss IR-2, which is an amp modeling pedalboard in a Boss pedal format with a stereo effect loop, 3 reverbs, 11 amps and the possibility to load your own IRs. So the question is it any good? Let's find out. Let's describe the unit. The IR-2 is a dual-channel amp and cabinet simulator that can be used as a preamp only or cabinet simulator only, or obviously as a full amp and cabinet modeler. It offers 11 amps and cabs simulations based on some of the most iconic amps available, with Fenders, Voxes, Marshalls, Soldano, Mesa Boogie, etc. Furthermore, the unit comes loaded with 11 Celestion IRs and can load our own IRs in 11 slots at up to 500 milliseconds, 96 kHz and 24 bits. You can select the amp type with the right knob and you can control the basic bass, middle and treble amp settings using the other 3 knobs. These 3 knobs also allow to access a secondary function, which is the gain level, the overall volume of the amp and the ambience level. In fact, the unit offers also 3 stereo reverbs types that are room, hall and plate. The pedal offers one foot switch which allows to select the 2 amp channels available or to switch the pedal off. Furthermore, following a specific combination of the knobs, while switching on the unit, we can access some secondary functions, like the reverb type selection, or we can switch on or off the preamp simulation, etc. And please notice that by default the unit is set up with room reverb, the line output, and a mono return effect loop. Let's now talk about the IOs, and here there are some pretty interesting features in my opinion. We have a guitar input and an effect loop with a mono send and a stereo return via a TRS jack. The effect loop of the IR-2 is located after the amp and cabinet simulation and before the reverb. This is pretty interesting. In fact, you can basically send a mono signal from the IR-2 to a chorus, and then you can come out from the chorus with a stereo signal feeding a stereo delay. The stereo delay then can return back in the stereo loop of the IR-2. In this way we are gonna have a full stereo rig, having the IR-2 stereo reverb as the last effect in the loop, with some stereo effects before the IR-2 reverb and after the cabinet. This is nice, and in this way we can really take advantage of the IR-2 internal stereo reverb. I mean, having the effect loop located after the amp and cabinet and before the reverb without being obliged to place the chorus and the delay after the IR-2 reverb, which is nice. Actually, we will discuss even more this setting in the more sound section of this video, where we will share the pedal board I have built around the IR-2. Furthermore, still in terms of I/O, we have a stereo output and an input for an external controller. Then, on the top of the unit, we have an headphone out and a USB-C port. In fact, this pedal can be connected to a computer with three purposes: in order to load our own IRs inside the unit, or to edit some key features of the unit, or to use the unit as a 2x2 audio interface at up to 24 bits and 96 kHz, which is a pretty cool option for a unit of this size. So basically this device is pretty flexible, and for instance we can use it in three different situations, I would say. For silent practicing, using the headphone out and connecting your phone to the pedal via USB to stream some audio tracks. Or we can use it to record some music, connecting the pedal to our computer via USB. Or we can use it in an ampless pedalboard setup live, connecting the unit directly to our mixing desk and without the need to carry around heavy tube amps. The pedal runs at 9 volts and 160 milliamperes and can be battery powered like any other Boss pedal. The dimensions are the ones shown in the screen and the weight is 450 grams. Obviously it's pretty small and light. And finally the price is 210 bucks. Let's now hear some more sounds. Welcome to the more sound section of this video, where I will describe the amplest pedalboard I have set up using the IR-2, also explaining the tones used in the demo song. First of all, let's talk about the signal chain. My guitar goes into the Maxon drive that is then connected into the input of the IR-2. The mono send of the IR-2 goes in the Boss chorus, which has a stereo output connected to the halo delay. Then the halo delay output is connected to this TRS jack with a stereo side and two mono female output. That is actually the return, the stereo return of the IR-2. In this way, as described in the description section of this video, I have a full stereo rig, taking advantage of the stereo reverb inside the IR-2. And then the stereo output of the IR-2 is connected to a Walrus canvas that then is going into my audio interface stereo via XLR cable. In this way, you can run long XLR cables without adding noise to your signal. For instance, if you are in a live setup and you want to reach your mixing desk from your ampless pedalboard. So this setup is actually pretty powerful as it is fully stereo. I'm using the stereo reverb of the IR-2. I'm using a stereo chorus and a stereo delay, and then using the canvas I'm translating standard cables to XLR to run long cables without adding noise. Let's now talk about the tones used in the demo song. First of all, I have set up all the amp and sound used in the IR-2 with the same basic EQ, removing some bass with the middle in the middle and adding just a little bit of treble and gain. And then I have used 3 basic tones, one for the comping part, one for the second comping part, distorted comping part used in the bridge of the song, and then the lead tone. I have used 2 amps, the tweed, which is a bassman, and the high gain that I have set in the 2 channels of the IR-2. Here I have the bassman, and here I have the high gain. So let's talk about the first tone, which is the clean tone using the comping part. As I was saying, I'm using a tweed amp, which is a bassman. I have the guitar with the volume around 8, and then I have add a little bit of chorus, basically getting this tone. Pretty nice, clean and perfect for the comping part of the demo song. The nice thing here is that in the bridge, using the exact same amp in the IR-2, I have obtained a crunchy tone, setting the guitar to its maximum level, using the 5th pickup and pushing the strings. So, as you may notice, the pedal is pretty reactive. Using just the same settings in the pedal, I'm going through a very clean tone to a pretty distorted one. And you can also hear the reverb. Here it is at its maximum level. Here it is in the middle. So it is pretty nice and gentle, I have to say. Actually, for the demo song I have recorded 2 tracks of the comping part, pumpotting them hard left and hard right, in order to obtain a sort of natural chorus. Let's hear the result obtained in the demo song. Now, in the bridge of the demo song there is another specific tone I have used, which sounds like this. I really like this part, as I think it adds a lot of movement to the bridge and basically allows me not to use at all any keyboard or strings in the song. You know, when I created the demo song, I thought that I needed some keyboards or some string in the bridge of the song, just to enhance the volume and the tension of the song. But then, with just the acoustic guitar, the basic distorted chords and the arpeggiated comping part together with the voice, well, I just thought that I didn't need anything more. The bridge was just full enough and with enough tension and power, in my opinion. And you know, for us guitarists, it is so cool when we are able just to rely on our beloved guitars in order to create a full song, without the need of anything more. Let's hear it in the demo song. Let's now talk about the lead tone. Here I have used the high gain amp in the IR-2, still as in the bridge of the demo song. And I have just pushed the high gain amp with the Maxon. Furthermore, I have the chorus switched off, I have the reverb switched off, and I have added some delay. Pretty nice. And you know, live I would have used this setting, while in the mix, as you know, I prefer not to add any delay, but to use the delay of my digital audio workstation, so that I can set up the amount of delay, the repetitions, the feedbacks, etc. while mixing the song. In this way, I'm sure I'm using the proper amount of delay without losing the lead tone in the mix. And I have to say that this tone is a perfect Strat lead tone. With enough gain, but without too much gain, and being very gentle and spark. Also, the comping tone, the bassman, reacts pretty well to the Maxon overdrive. Here I have two pretty different lead tones, both that are very nice and musical. Obviously, the one based on the bassman is much more soft, with less gain, but still still nice and easy to play. Both are very musical, in my opinion. Let's now hear the lead tone in the demo song. Okay, and now let's jump to the conclusions of this video with my 2 cents section. Final considerations here, and please notice that these are gonna be my personal opinions for my specific use cases, and you may not agree with me, and this is totally fine. Furthermore, Boss has sent me this unit for free, but this video is not paid or sponsored. Let's talk about the pros. First of all, the collection of amps is pretty good, and you can go from pristine clean sounds to heavy distorted tones easily. Then I love the overall flexibility of the pedal. It is perfect to be used in an ampless pedalboard with your own distortion, choruses and delay effects in order to obtain your own signature tone. The third pro I would mention is the effect loop. First of all, the mono send and the stereo return allows us to use stereo effects in the loop. And then the loop, in my opinion, is placed perfectly. I mean, after the amp and cab and before the reverb inside this pedal, so that we can take full advantage of the stereo reverb inside this unit, with the possibility to place it after an external stereo chorus and delay. The fourth pro I would mention is the price. I mean, $210 for 11 amp simulations, stereo effect loop and stereo reverb, I think is a pretty good price. Also considering that this little unit can also serve as an audio interface. And now the cons. Well, for a unit with all these features and at this price point, it is pretty hard to find cons. The only cons I would mention is the missing MIDI input that would have enhanced even further the possibility to control the unit in an ampless setup. But if you want MIDI, we can get the IR-200, or we can add an external controller to the IR-2 using the external controller input available in the unit. All in all, I think this pedal is just perfect for someone who wants to build an ampless pedalboard with his own effects that he can maybe already have at his disposal. And especially for those of us who want to create something special, I mean, using a unique combination of effect pedals in order to find out unique tones and sounds. Okay, we have now reached the end of this video. Please let me know your precious and valuable opinions in the comment section below, and please don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell if you enjoyed the video, as it would really be of a great help. If you are interested in my IRs or in my Tonics profiles, you can check out the link in the card above or description below, where there is also a link to a playlist of songs of mine. Thank you so much for watching and see you soon. Bye bye.